Hello, students. We are continuing with the same chapter, that is the body movements, where you will learn today about the movement without legs. If you can remember, in my last video, we had already discussed about the movement of cockroach and birds. That means the movement which is done with the help of the leg. But there are also other animals, some animals which can move without the application of leg. So today we will learn about the movement of the earthworm and the movement of the snails. Now, the movements of animals are basically there are some animals which can move without the legs. Now, whenever we hear the word movement, we instantly associate with the leg. But there are also some other animals which you will learn today that they move totally without the application or use of the leg, in which the first one we will discuss today about the earthworm. Now, earthworm, as you all know, belongs to the class of annelids, that is the invertebrate animals. Now, it has muscles which helps them to lengthen and shorten the body. If you see the earthworm, they can lengthen the body, they can shorten the body with the help of the muscles. And their body is actually consist of segments which are liquid filled, or the compartments which again join together. So the segment of the body which are constituting the earthworm's whole body, they are short and flat. The earthworm's body generally have two types of muscles. One is known as the circular muscle and the other one is known as the longitudinal muscle. So when the circular muscle contract, they make the segment of the earthworm's body long and thin, whereas when the longitudinal muscle contract, they make the long and thin segments of the earthworm body short and fat again. Each segment of earthworm's body, they contain a very tiny bristles means it is a small hair like structure which is present on the underside of the body. These bristles can be moved into the ground to grip the ground so that it can very tightly hold the ground, and these bristles are withdrawn to release the ground. Now, all these mechanisms um, uh, coordinatedly help in the movement of the earthworm, which we will show now how the earthworm moves. Here is the diagram, or the picture has been given for your reference. Now, the movements of the earthworm. So, the earthworm actually moves by the lengthening and shortening of the body alternatively by using two types of muscles we had already discussed. One is the circular muscle and another one is the longitudinal muscles respectively, and also the tiny bristles which are found in on the underside of the earthworm's body. They are helping in the gripping the ground when a part of its body move. So we will see how this happens. Now, the to move forward, the earthworm contracts circular muscles of the front segment, due to which the front part of the body becomes long and thin. We had already seen that is the contraction of the circular muscles which are present in the earthworm's body causes the body to become long and thin, and exactly that happens here, and this causes them to move ahead by some distance. Now, during this time, the bristles of the front part of the earthworm's body are withdrawn from the ground. I had already mentioned that is the bristles which are present in the underside of the body, helping the earthworm to grip with the ground, and withdrawing that bristles help to withdraw that grip from the ground. So due to the movement of the frontal part, the bristles are withdrawn and the body gets withdrawn or detached from the ground. And in this time, the back part of the earthworm's body remains fixed to the ground by gripping action. So here we can see the opposite action taking place in the frontal part as well as in the backward part of the earthworm's body. When the bristles are withdrawn in the frontal part, it is moving in the frontal part. The front portion is moving in the frontal part, but in this time the backward portion's bristles are directly attached with the ground, and they are remaining fixed to the ground by the gripping action. Now, in the next step, the longitudinal muscles of the front part of the earthworm contracts and make it short and fat, just the opposite. Initially, what we had seen, the circular muscles causing the body to become long and thin. Now, here, the longitudinal muscles they contract and make the body short and fat. And in this time, the bristles of the front part now grip the ground, and the circular muscle that had been functioning in the frontal part now is functioning in the back part, which is contracting and make the back part of the earthworm's body long and thin. So, long and thin means the bristles which are in the backward part are now withdrawn from the ground, and the bristles which are present in the frontal part now are holding or gripping the ground. So finally, what happened? The longitudinal muscles of the back part of the earthworm contracts and make it short and fat and pulling the body forward. So ultimately, what we can see is that by alternative contraction of the circular muscles and the longitudinal muscles, and also the alternative action of the bristles which are present in the underside of the body of the earthworm are gripping the ground and leaving the grip of the ground, causing the earthworm to move forward. So the earthworm completes one step of its movement and covers a small distance. Now, again, this action is repeated and earthworm keeps on moving further. So the body of the earthworm secretes in this action secretes a slimy substances. These are basically the moist and slippery substances which helps in this movement. So we had seen how the earthworm completes the movement. Now we will move into the movement of the snail. Now, snail, as we all know, it is a very slow moving animal with a shell on its back. The body of the snail is sorry, soft and consists of a head, foot, and a shell. So the snail's body is very soft, you must have seen, which is covered with the shell, but they consist of the head, foot, and the shell. And the head of the snail has two pairs of tentacles for catching the prey. This is their structure by which they catch the prey, and the larger pair of the tentacles have little eyes in them. So whatever the tentacles or the specific structure which is present on the snails, they contains the eyes. And if you see the shell, the most conspicuous structure you will see is the outer skeleton. But very interestingly, this harder structure of the snail is not made up of bones. It is it contains, or the shell contains, the internal organs of the snail. Now, in dangerous or when the situation is unfavorable, the snail withdraws its head and foot into the shell. This simple thing you can also do, that whenever on the grass you can see a snail moving. If you put some obstacle in front of him, or if you touch the snail with a twig or a stick, whatever, if you touch slowly, mildly, it's not a very intention to hurt it, you will see the snail gradually withdraws its structure which is outside. So from here we can understand the snail is using the outer covering as a means for protection. Now, the snail has only one foot under its body. The foot of the snail is large, flat, and disc shaped. So, which is made this the snail's foot is very important structure because it is made up of a very strong muscle. That is why the snail's foot is known as the muscular foot, and the snail moves with the help of this disc shaped muscular foot. Now, how does it happen? There are two sets of muscles in the foot of the snail which contract and expand alternately, producing a kind of wave effect which is running from the back to the front, and in series of waves in the muscle of foot make the snails move forward. Similarly, that is the alternation of the contraction and expansion of the muscles producing a wave which is causing the movement of the snails. Snails are basically a invertebrate animal which is the gastropods, which is means it is a belly footed animal, and also their movement has also got a specific name which is known as the creeping. So the movement of the snail is more or less similar to earthworm, but the difference is that the earthworm, many differences are there, but the conspicuous difference is that earthworm moves much more faster than the snails do. So, in today's class, we had learnt about the movement of two animals which are absolutely without legs. That means the concept that is the leg is the only organ to move is not applicable. That means there are some animals also which can move with the help of the legs, which again, two animals we will learn in the next class. Till then, all of you stay safe, stay inside. Thank you.